Greetings once again, YouTube. So as you can see, I've made quite a bit of progress on the Bluetooth speaker housing. I'll start here with the front with what we got. The speakers are actually, I used a hole saw, which is almost the exact size of these speakers, and I mounted them. I was actually going to mount them on the outside, but they look pretty good on the inside. That's still up in the air. Not like it's really going to make a huge difference. I painted this plastic from the sign black with some satin black. Actually, I painted the speakers black too because they were this weird faded greenish blue color, and it was kind of ugly actually. What you can see is the screws are like a stainless type screw. I'm debating on painting in black, but at the same time I kind of like the, I guess you can call it an industrial look from the shininess. Got to replace this rust with the one down here. I have more, that one was what came out of the box. This here is the power switch. I grabbed that just from Radio Shack. It was like a couple bucks. It's supposed to light up, but it doesn't because it's meant for like 115 volt house current. But it still, you know, sends a signal through, and it has a nice click to it. I like that. I mounted the amp to the front. I was actually going to try and mount it to like a board or something, but that didn't quite work out as I planned. I do have a knob for this I picked up from Radio Shack. Excuse me, I'm getting a little bit of a cold or something. But anyway, that's the front. Still debating on painting the screws black. We'll see. Now, let's flip it on around to the back. As you can see, this was an old real estate sign that was left in my yard. And I did call the company a couple times, and they said they didn't want it, so I cut it up. Here's the unit mounted in the back. It's kind of dark in there, so let me flip it over here. There we go, that's much better. Now, I did have a bit of an issue when I picked the unit up. I don't know if we can get a good shot of it in here because the lighting in down here is not too good. You can't really see too well. Anyway, the heatsink came off of that amp. I'm gonna find some kind of glue or something to put it on with. Might try hot glue. It doesn't really, I don't even know that it needs it because it doesn't get super hot. There's the back of the switch, the back of the speakers. Now, let me go ahead and move this. I'll kind of lay out the wiring here on the desk, and it's not completely done. I plan on taping it up a little bit, making it look nicer. Excuse the look at my desk. It's an old computer desk, and I use it to build stuff on. There's a Bluetooth unit, not much different there. That's pretty much the same. The plan is to, there it is, run this wire here to the output and then run the other end to the amp. And the nice thing about this Bluetooth is it has a line in here. Let me try and get a shot of that. Now I'm not sure how I'm going to mount this in the box. I may just use double-sided tape because these screw holes are exceptionally tiny and I have nothing even close to that small. I'd really rather not drill a bunch of tiny little holes. But the good thing is here, the line in, if you run a line into it, which I have one, just a blank end, if the Bluetooth is not turned on, it'll let you play through the line in. So that's something pretty good. What I did order was some ends to go in the back, and I'll do that next. This is the back, and I do have enough sign to make one. I think I will eventually, but the power input's going to go in here. It's just got a little thread, and it does fit. So that'll go there, and I just have Gorilla Tape on the inside to cover up the holes. I might cut another one out here so I can put the auxiliary input next to it. Now, I did have an issue with my power supply. It actually fried the other day. So I actually found at my parents' house, I talked to my mom and she said she had this one. It's an old Gemini adapter from like probably the 80s, but it works. It's got from 3 to 12 volts, and it does work. Hopefully it's enough amps. But if not, I can probably buy something cheap on the internet. So we'll get rid of the back. Covered that. Now, here are the speaker wires. The positive lines. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here, and I only have one hand. These are the positives. They have their resistors in line, and they'll just screw into the amp. And these are the grounds that'll connect to the speakers. And they'll all just screw into the amp. I wanted to use red and black, but this is what I had laying around. So this is what it's going to be. It's all going to be inside anyway, no one's going to see it. So I plan on putting this together really soon. I hope to have it done. It just, time didn't work out. So now this looks like a mess, but I actually plan on taping it up, making it look nicer later on. So we'll start with where the power comes in. Here's the power input. Red is positive, blue is negative. Once again, wire that I had laying around. You know, recycle and whatnot. They then go in to... Now the grounds don't really... This switch just needs a ground. So this is the ground, the yellow one, and the two white ones are power from the switch in the back, and power out of the switch to these two wires, which will also get mounted in the amp. Everything just goes right into screw-in terminals. They're actually pretty nice. They did sell another version with the plug-in base, but this is what I wanted, so I could just plug everything in the back and have that disconnectable. And at some point, I may work on a battery solution, but maybe, maybe not, because I don't plan on this being portable very often. But anyway, the other wire goes from this mess. Like I said, I plan on tightening this up a little bit more inside. And I had Velcro on here. I tried to use Velcro, and that was a miserable failure. I may use double-sided tape. I may even just hot glue all this stuff in. I don't plan on it ever coming out again, and none of it's really that expensive anyway. But anyway, this is what we talked about before. It's a step down from a 12 to 5 volts. I was going to link this in the description because I got this in Amazon too. It was like $6, but they don't sell it anymore. Because I've had this for probably a few years. But you can buy these things real cheap. Just look for anything. Make sure it goes from 12 to 5 if you want to use USB. And here I just took and ran the wires to that end from that adapter, soldered it, and just used an old zip tie to hold it in place for now. Everything is soldered and heat shrunk. I just used the electrical tape to wrap it up. But like I said, it's not finished. Once it's done, I think the next phase is to put everything in the box. I'll wrap it up, maybe a little more electrical tape or zip ties, whatever strikes my fancy at the moment. I don't really plan these things out. That's mostly why I haven't done a lot of videos while I was making this, because, well, that, and I only have a few minutes a night because I've been working a lot lately. But it's all the collection of parts. But basically, I kind of plan this as I'm working on it. So the next step, I'll probably work on mounting it in the box, fixing that heatsink down in here. And then I'll go through everything put together, and then maybe we'll do a test on it. Now, I understand this isn't the most in-depth build video, but I just showed you what components I used. There's thousands of videos on the internet everywhere on how to solder, how to shrink, shrink wrap, how to wrap wires, how to use heat shrink, how to make sure your speakers have the right tone to match your amp, all that stuff. This was just what I'm doing to fit my needs. You guys have any suggestions? And if anyone has a recommendation on how I can glue this down, because it's not like a computer heatsink where you have the dielectric or the thermal paste and a strap. The thermal paste is actually like a hard kind that glued on, and I don't have anything like that. So, but any questions, comments, throw them in the video, and I will see you guys when we work on wrapping this up. Thanks, and have a good one.